Alright, welcome to the first module of this course. The first thing you need to know is the interface. It's like a carpenter or someone or a plumber. He has to understand the tools he's using before he actually use it or actually try to use it on a job. So likewise, it is for knowing the CapCut interface, knowing what is used for what and how to use some specific tool in a special way. Now, if you have not downloaded Pixel Lab is one of the apps that we'll be using in this tutorial. Download Pixel Lab and then CapCut. And one thing I need to tell you before you keep going is that you have to get CapCut Pro. You have to get CapCut Pro because if you really want to make money from it, CapCut free, I don't think there's anything like CapCut free anymore. So you have to get CapCut Pro, but luckily I know someone who can help you get CapCut Pro for just 4,000 naira a month, or equivalent to $3 every single month. So if you want CapCut Pro for $3 every single month, just click the link in the description and contact the person, and then you get access to CapCut Pro for $3 every single month. Now, all the assets and the links and everything that we'll be using in this tutorial, I'm going to link them below, so download them, and yeah, we'll get started right now.
All right, so this is my CapCut and here is my Pixel Lab. So coming to CapCut, so I've picked my picture and this is how it's gonna be. I know a lot of you guys already know how CapCut interface is, but I'm gonna show you guys some things that you might not, understand how to use it. So just listen. So obviously this is the first. You can click on it and you have your edit page. If you want to split your app, you just press split and then you can delete any part. This is for cutting a video if you want to cut your video, but you can then go back, which is very, very effective, or you can on redo, which is if you made a mistake for deleting something, which is very, very nice. So then we have the audio. At this point, you can extract any audio from any video that you want, and then this is the sound. You can get any sound you want here for the background of your video, and then you have all the sound effects here. I also gave you guys some sound effects that I use personally, so you can also have that and use that. That is actually very, very, I think most sound effects here you might not get it there, like the notification, a lot of things that you may not get. Then if you want to record a video, that's if you are making a video and you have teleprompter, you can write your script here and then record the audio that you want to record, which is actually very, very useful. That's one of the reasons why CapCut is stepping up. Is the number one of other video editing tools. Meanwhile, there are other tools that you can use like Alight Motion, but you won't get vast majority of assets like CapCut. But when you want to do motion graphics, Alight Motion is very, very nice. I've seen a lot of that on Alight Motion, but I'm going to show you how you can do it on CapCut. So stay with me. Now you have all these tools here. You have the background. If you want to blur a background and make it just, you can blur it. That's if you're, let me see, if you want to set your aspect ratio. If you have a video, it's good for you to come and set it here, because sometimes you may think that it's already 9:16, but it may not look 9:16. So you just set it up there, and then you can have like blur and stuff, and then it's blurred. And then you can also change it to color, background, and all that stuff, which is actually very nice. Then we have the sticker. This is where you get all this, like if you want to add an emoji, if you want to add an arrow, all this stuff, you can add it through display. That's why I said CapCut has a vast majority of assets that you can use from. Then we also have the text. You can add your text here, your auto caption. One of the things I see most beginners do is once you get a job, you just use auto caption all throughout your video. But I'm going to show you guys how to use, like, to do text animation as a beginner so that you can make a very good edit. So this is the draw button. This is very nice if you want to like do a nice arrow or something. Then you have, I like to use black. You have this. It's very nice, and it's very good. And you can then come back here, go to the animation, increase it however you want, and look at that. Look at that. Ooh, that's very nice. So if you want to use it for motion graphics, this is one of the best. So you have very good assets there. Then you have your template. One thing about the template is that you cannot customize it very well. So then we have our overlay. We can bring in different varieties of tools inside here. Now I have this. This I made it on Pixel Lab. That's why I say download Pixel Lab. I'm going to show you how you can make it on Pixel Lab. Let's go to Pixel Lab. So this is Pixel Lab. So all you need to do is delete this and then go to shapes, select an ellipse, can reduce it, then press edit, remove the strokes, turn this into black. There's one thing is like Pixel Lab on iPhone is very different from Pixel Lab on Android. On Android is way more simpler to use. So if you have an Android, you actually have advantage. I started with an Android, so it's actually way more easier to use than in this. So we just put an inner shadow, enable it, and then drag the radius. The inner shadow, you change the color. So whatever you want, you're gonna put it red. So there you have it, done. So this is how you do it, and then you go to the background, make it transparent, and then you can export it. Most video editors use it in different ways. I'm going to show you how you can use it. So you come to max after you duplicate that, and then you just feather it here. Max is one of the tools that you'll be using a lot, and then you can see you've made a human being. So if you want to add more touches to it, you just come to your text, create a text, and then you go like this, go boom. I'm gonna put it here, space, and then put another one here. So now you have an eyes. So yeah, you can use keyframing. So I'm gonna use keyframing and show you how to use keyframing and other stuff. Use keyframing, and then instead of using your hands, it will not be smooth and professional. You just go to basic, go here, and then you move the position x-axis. So now you have this. So now it looks like your character is looking this way. Then I'll go this way and then put it like this and then put it back. So if we play this, wow, you see that, guys? So you can use CapCut and do, if you want to add, like, we're going to do a good animation later on, but this is important for you if you want to add that. So one of the things you can also do to make it, you can make it blink. So you can also add keyframing. So add ease keyframing, and it will just look a lot more smoother. So now we're gonna play it back. It's way more smoother now, like an eyes, rather than it being linear. So keyframing is something that you need if you want to make, like, transform, and if you want to change the position of anything. So I'm going to remove this and also show you guys. So if you're doing this, you can also split this and Place it here to make the person look like he's blinking. Okay, do you see that? So this is how you animate on CapCut, and don't let people fool you that you can't do crazy stuff on CapCut. You can, and this is an example of it. So this is how you animate on CapCut, and then we're gonna go into the effect for the filters and adjustment. Those are for color grading and color correction, mostly color correction. So when we're going into color correction chapter, I'm going to talk more about that. But for the effect, which I definitely like and something that you should be using for your transformation, if you want to do a transition, so there's so many effects here. One of the ones I like, as you can see, I favorited them, is this radius blur. This radius blur. If in case if I want to put a dollar shower sign, I'll just press this instead of like going to get a green screen. This is way more better. So I also have other ones here. I have player 3, which you can see that is for 3D. So I'll just remove the texture and I can rotate it like this or rotate it like that. The only thing about this is you cannot, if you're doing it from here, you can't really keyframe it, and that's just the only disadvantage. There's no keyframing, so it's just the way it is. So don't worry, 3D is not something that will be of a big issue to you if you are just starting out as a beginner video editor. I didn't do much of a 3D effect, but yeah, this is all about the interface and how you can use the interface. One last thing before we go is you can also use this for transition. Like I said before, one of the things I like to use is this white flash. It's actually good for transition and other stuff. You see this warning glow instead of like trying to download a lot of green screen and all that stuff. You have it inside your effect. So come to the effect and check it out. So yeah, this is it, and I'm going to see you guys in the next module or in the next chapter of these tutorials.